Hello everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to the final episode of Picking Up the Pieces. In this particular episode, as we close this series out, we're going to do it in a way that says so many different things. Let's go back to where this series begins. September 17th of 2021, my wife of nearly 8 years walks out the door. Many of you in the Maverick Nation were well aware that it shattered me, okay? It shattered me in a way that, emotionally, many of you weren't sure how I was going to come out of it, how I was going to get back to being dear old Prince Magnum, the one that you guys are all familiar with. But at the same time, there was some other stuff that was kind of going on behind the scenes. And some of you, heavy working cogs within the Maverick Nation were fully aware of it. Some of you weren't. When my wife left, she left me with a mountain of debt. A lot of debt and a mountain of problems to go along with that mountain of debt. Project Spirit laid up, okay? And when I say laid up, we're talking, we're still working on the damage from that deer of, almost 2 years ago now, as filming of this video, that is. Along with that, Project Lena was also pretty much on her last leg. And I had to use Project Lena to get back and forth to work in. You guys already see how much fun this is about to become. Project Lena, at one point in time, was in such bad shape that I would pull up to a stoplight and I would have to put her in neutral and keep my foot on the gas to keep her from dying, like an old carbureted engine. She had a horrible, lifter knock to her. And not quite your rod knock that you're all familiar with. Those actually have distinct sounds. A rod knocking sounds more like someone just beating on metal, whereas with the lifter, severe lifter clatter, it's more of a light sound and more of a tapping on metal instead of a pounding. And that's kind of how Project Lena's engine ran. She also was notorious. She was having problems with heating and cooling. And when I say heating and cooling, basically either the temperature for the engine was, really cold, or it was really freaking hot. She could never find a happy medium, which should have been warning signs. The electric fans were going out, and we also, there was the issue with the radiator. Ended up having to replace the alternator, a lot of stuff like that while this is all happening, and I'm having to take care of the mountain of debt at the same time. On top of that, the interior was trashed, and we're gonna kick into a montage of what it was like here in just a few moments. But when you go back and you look at what Project Lena was compared to what she is today, you'll see that there's been a big change. But before we cut into the usual video montage of 1 year's time with Project Lena being at the forefront of the Prince Magnum channel, let's get a couple of things let me explain a couple of things. Why on Picking Up the Pieces would you showcase Project Lena? Shouldn't it be showcasing you? Let me stress to you guys that when you are in the world of building project cars like myself, the project car is you. It's an extension of yourself. And that's one of the things that most people outside of the car community don't fully understand. If you truly put your heart and soul into a project, that project is you. Project Spirit is a little bit more me, but this is still an embodiment of me. And it's been an embodiment of what I've been through for about a year. So now that I've kind of pulled that all together and you guys have a full understanding, let me reiterate, this This showcase of Project Lena is, without a doubt, a showcase of what it's been like for me in 1 year's time. So from here, let's go into the montage. welcome back. That's been quite a journey for this car. And it's been quite a journey for a lot of us who are, you know, for you guys, really. You guys who have been in the Maverick Nation. You guys were at the forefront of it all. Helping me every step of the way, not just here, but here too. You guys have been in there. I mean, we got brand new pinstriping. Salvage engine that's running pretty solid. She's doing good. She's doing real good. And it's hard to believe that in 1 year's time, this car has made an impact on the channel. The Prince Magnum channel will always be the house that Project Spirit built. But Prince Magnum channel is also the house that Project Lena kept standing in spite of all that I've had to endure in 1 year's time. So really, kind of at this stage of the game, you know, I know many of you are like, well, I want to continue helping the Prince Magnum channel. You know, how do I do that? Patreon, $1 a month US, okay? When you put in $1 a month, I can put back into the project cars. Project Lena, Project Spirit, okay? And any other crazy idea we might get. Or maybe you'd like some merchandise. Well, we do have the Teespring, and we have Project Lena merchandise there. And you guys are welcome to go over there and check that out. We also got cinnamon merch. We got a little bit of everything over there, including Project Spirit merchandise, which is pretty cool. So we've got merchandise of all sizes and shape. Just depends on what you want. And if we haven't got it in there, we'll take a look at getting it, you know. So we've got plenty to work with. So now that we've been established, you know, 1 year's time, Project Lena coming as far as she has, and the amount of time that she did, I'm going to give you guys an interesting story. At the last car show of this season, because it's November 2021 is the filming of this video. I'm sorry, November 2022. I'm going to leave that there. September 17th of 2022, I was at a car show up in St. Louis, Missouri. A lot of gorgeous rides there, which, depending on which video I release first, depends on whether or not you see those cars there before this video. It just depends. You might see this video first as opposed to the car show up in St. Louis that was on the 17th. It just depends on how I feel. But Project Lena came excruciatingly close to trophying up there, and part of it was when the folks, you know, the judges had more or less, you know, kind of said, you know, hey, you know, this is kind of a different car. We don't usually see something like this in the show. You know, usually it's something they pointed at a 71 Nova that had been turned into a Yenko Nova clone, and said, or something like this, and there was a T bucket, you know, a Ford T bucket next to Lena, and it said, why a 2003 Pontiac Grand Am GT? And I told him of Lena's story. You know, I told him how Lena was on her last leg. Even told him about the time, you know, the times that my wife had Lena airborne, and how we had to replace her engine and replace all these things on her. We still got a long ways to go. Their response was very genuine, and they're like, this is not just any car. This car has a very special, very, very special story to tell. And you guys have kind of seen that here. But they also said that it was wonderful that I didn't let, you know, my wife leaving break me, because that happens to a lot of guys. And they even, a couple of them, you know, who I guess were going through some bad stuff themselves, even looked at Lena and said, thank you for giving me hope today. So if there's anything you guys got out of this, I hope that's something that you guys got. Is that no matter what happens in your life, there is hope. Which has been the message of this channel for many years. This is usually about the point where I say something special like, get out there, work on a project, that sort of thing. And, I tell you to sweep your sweetheart off their feet. They deserve it, they do deserve it, And, and I tell you guys, all those things like that to remind you that, to get out there and to do something with yourself. Well, today I'm going to leave y'all with a slightly different message. And that message goes a little something like this. At day's end, nobody has dominion over your happiness. No one. Not me, not anybody else. The only person that has dominion over your happiness is you. You're the one who's in control of your destiny. You're the one who's in control of your happiness. And whether you believe in any God or you don't believe in anything, whatever you want to believe in, something even as simple as the wind, whatever your higher power is, just know that today is a gift from that higher power. It's up to you to make it special. So with all that being said, if nobody's told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you. Go for a ride.
I admire your honesty. Hell, I like you. You can come over to my house and fuck my sister.